Alexander Hamilton lived a life that reads more like a novel than history. Born out of wedlock on a small Caribbean island, abandoned by his father, orphaned by his mother's death, and left with nothing but his wits, Hamilton had every reason to fade into obscurity. But instead, he clawed his way out of poverty with sheer brilliance, ambition, and fire. He was a soldier, a lawyer, a writer who could out-argue anyone, and the driving force behind America's finance system. He rode his way into power, fought his way into politics, and never stopped pushing for a stronger nation. Hamilton just didn't help us found the United States. He built the machinery that kept it running. And that's why history remembers him as the architect of finance. Welcome to our republic.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands that
sailors and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers. Not
those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be.
we pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Hamilton was born in 1755 or 1757. Even he was uncertain, on the island of Nevis in the West Indies. His father abandoned the family when he was young, and his mother died soon after, leaving Hamilton and his brother alone, penniless, and branded with the stigma of illegitimacy. But Hamilton had two gifts: an unrelenting drive and a mind like a furnace. By his teenage years, he was running a merchant office, keeping the books, writing essays so powerful that local benefactors raised money to send him to America for an education. And in New York, he studied at King's College, today's Columbia, where his pen quickly made him a voice of the revolution. And when the Revolutionary War erupted, Hamilton joined a militia, and his courage quickly drew attention. By 1777, he caught the eye of George Washington, who made him an aide-de-camp. Hamilton became Washington's right-hand man, drafting letters, managing correspondence, and shaping strategy. But Hamilton wasn't content with his desk job. He longed for battlefield glory, and eventually Washington gave him command at the Battle of Yorktown, where Hamilton led a daring nighttime assault on a British redoubt. That victory helped seal America's independence. Now, after the war, Hamilton became a lawyer in New York, where his fiery courtroom style earned him attention. He defended loyalists, argued landmark cases, and became a leading voice for stronger government. The Articles of Confederation, in his view, were chaos waiting to destroy a new nation. Hamilton's vision was clear. America needed unity, strength, and a government powerful enough to secure both liberty and stability. And when the Constitutional Convention produced a new framework, Hamilton championed it with unmatched energy. Together with James Madison and John Jay, they co-authored the Federalist Papers. Hamilton wrote a majority of the essays, 51 in total. He tackled everything from the dangers of weak government to the need for an energetic executive. His words were persuasive, relentless, and remain some of the most influential defenses of the Constitution ever written. And as the first Secretary of Treasury under President Washington, Hamilton finally found a role that matched his talents. America was drowning in debt, its credit worthless, and its economy fragile. Hamilton's solution was radical. He pushed for the federal government to assume state debts, reestablish a national bank, created systems of taxation, and laid the foundation for American credit. These moves were controversial, fiercely opposed by Jefferson and Madison, but Hamilton's plan worked. The United States went from financial ruin to stability, and the groundwork was laid for our modern economy. Hamilton didn't just balance the book. He gave America the tools to grow. But Hamilton's brilliance came with ferocity. He wrote scathing attacks on political opponents, fought bitterly with Jefferson, and helped give birth to the two-party system. His relentless pen made him both indispensable and dangerous. And his personal life added to the drama. when he became the first major American politician caught in a sex scandal, publicly admitting to an affair with Maria Reynolds, his reputation took a brutal hit. But even scandal couldn't keep him from wielding influence. But Hamilton's life came to a tragic climax in 1804, years after political and personal feuding with Aaron Burr boiled over into a duel. And on the morning of July 11th, they met in Weehawken, New Jersey. Hamilton fired first, either deliberately missing or striking wide. Burr fired second, and his shot was fatal. Hamilton died the next day, only 47 years old. That's crazy. I'm 47. I didn't found a country or a financial institution. Oh, a bit of a loser over here. Alexander Hamilton's life was short, but his impact was immense. He rose from poverty to shape the Constitution, fought for a strong central government, and built a financial system that made America stable and credible on the world stage. He was brilliant, driven, flawed, and unstoppable. Alexander Hamilton, the architect of finance, a man born with nothing who built systems that gave the nation everything it needed to survive. He proved that the ideas could be as powerful as armies and that the right plan could turn revolution into stability. I really appreciate you watching. I really appreciate you listening. Remember, history isn't boring. It's the story of lives that burn fast, burn bright, and leave legacies that never, ever fade. See you next time.